In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, I feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. In my soul, in my soul, in my soul, in my soul, I feel so alive. I feel so alive. I feel so alive. In my soul, 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 I feel so alive.
What's up, 10 Scale Squad? Look at this. This thing is scale as shit, isn't it? And I know what you're probably thinking. Oh my gosh, that thing is so awesome. I could never make anything like that. Well, you're wrong. In this video, I am going to show you how I made this thing and how I'm not special. You can achieve a result just like this, probably even easier than I can because I'm not an expert by any means. Let's get to it. First things first, this is an E34 Bmw Touring. I actually own an E34 Bmw Touring like this in real life. So when I saw this body, I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta do that. But rather than build it like a scale model of my actual car, which I've done in the past, I decided I would build it in a way that I wish my actual car really looked. And here it is. This body is built by A Plastic. They are from the Ukraine. And I actually got this body a few weeks ago, luckily before, And what I thought was just going to take me maybe a couple days turned into weeks of fitting this and ordering that and trying this. So let's go back in time a few weeks ago and I'll show you how I did it. So we've got the body out of the bag and here is our body here. Now, obviously, this is not pre-cut, just like most bodies, so we're gonna have to cut out everything that everything that isn't a BMW, 525 Touring Estate body. Everything that's not part of the body we have to cut out. The light buckets are right here, so we're actually gonna cut out, the entire piece of lexan here, because they will actually fit inside here, and this is what we're going to put our lights in, The rear end of this is also a two-piece rear end, so this is actually the rear bumper kind of flipped upside down. So we'll have to cut this out, and then, we'll flip it, and bing, bam, pow. This body also came with a sticker sheet. Most bodies will, so we're actually going to use clear windows, so we will not be using the window masks. At least I don't think so, but we'll probably be using how the paint job goes. Yeah, we'll probably be using pretty much everything else. Your body may or may not come with window masks. Luckily this one did, so these stickers match the windows on the car. So these are going to stick on the inside of the car, and that's what's going to allow the windows to be clear. So, the first step is, probably want to trim the body, don't you? Yep. Some people will use an X-Acto knife and score around the cut lines and then peel it out, but we're not going to do that. Ethan is going to cut it with the curved scissors, and then he's going to take a Dremel and just basically, you know, anything that isn't a BMW wheel arch, he's going to remove with the Dremel. Here they are. We've got the light buckets cut out. So here you can kind of see how that is going to fit inside the body. And Ethan is just doing kind of the final little trim. He's actually opted not to use the Dremel on this one. Why is that?
I've actually took my sweet time cutting these arches, and I just don't want to introduce dust to this if I don't need to. It's seriously 4 or 5 cycles of the compressor, some alcohol, back to the compressor, back to alcohol. I just don't want to, I don't want a repeat process. I just want to kind of skip that process if I can.
And the wheel arches look pretty, I mean, they're pretty decent.
And honestly, with the Dremel isn't as clean as it always comes out to be either. It does leave some edges, and a lot of times it can swirl and hit your edges here, and then you got some plastic that's gone, and then you leave with some paint on the outside.
And some of these little rough edges right here is actually just the film on the outside. So when we actually peel it, it'll be a lot nicer. Ethan's got the rear bumper trimmed as well. Stick that bad boy on there.
And under further investigation, I believe it goes on the inside.
Boom. So that's the rear bumpy on there. Oh, dude.
Woo!
I like it.
It's staying at the moment.
That is epic. Yeah, so like any kind of painting, before you start painting, it's all prep work. Even after you get the body trimmed the way you want it, it is legit all prep work. So before we start painting, we're gonna show you how we do that. Basically, you just don't want to use anything like chlorinated brake clean or something that's gonna react poorly with lexan. We use isopropyl alcohol. That works pretty well for us. And what you're doing here is you're just getting rid of any oil from your hands, any oil from shipping. You just want a nice, clean surface for that paint to stick to.
Forming process.
Yeah. Speaking of paint, we're going to be using Tamiya paint. This is PS18. Notice that it is not TS18. PS is for polycarbonate or lexan bodies. The TS is actually for it's for plastic, but it's meant for plastic models, like if you're spraying the outside of plastic, similar to a normal enamel paint. So if you use the TS on the inside of your lexan body, when the lexan flexes, it will just chip that paint off. Ask Ethan how he knows this.
Because we bought all the wrong paint.
It's a really easy mistake to do, and if you do buy the TS instead of the PS, in the past I have gone back at a later date and just backed everything that's chipped with the PS stuff, and I've had actually pretty good results with it. It's a pain in the butt, but you know, if you've already made the mistake that we have, it is possible to achieve some pretty good results going back after the fact, but it's best to get it right the first time. We have set these cans in front of the heater so they are good and warm to the touch, and basically what that does is just builds the can pressure so it comes out in a nice flow. You always want a nice flow, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
There's lots of warnings on here, and they are worth reading. Obviously, you know, you should wear some sort of mask when you do this, because this stuff is super duper not good for you if you breathe it. And you know, using a well ventilated area, etc., etc. Luckily, we have a shop back here where we don't have to be outside. We can actually paint in the shop. We got plenty of ventilation back there, and yeah, I'm getting excited. This is also when you're going to want to mask up any of your racing stripes, you know, your go fast stripes, things like that. If you have any kind of livery decals that you want on the inside, now's the time to do it. I'd say the first coat is probably one of the most important coats. You just want a light dusting, and you're basically setting the tone for the rest of the coats. So if you think, oh my gosh, that's not enough paint, it might even be too much.
Very possible. Ready to do it?
I'm ready to do it. You ready to do it?
Yep.
Got a good spray out of there?
Let's do it.
Ooh, pretty. Yep.
That's it.
A light, even coat. That is it.
Boom. That's it.
Now, we wait for what? 10 minutes? 15 minutes?
Yep, about 10-15 minutes on that first coat. And then when I come back, I only wait about 5-10 minutes in between coats after that.
Right. Now, what do you suppose we should do for 10 to 15 minutes?
Oh yeah. On the contrary belief, I will do a couple light coats.
Right on.
I feel like if you do that, it gives you a chance to hit your crevices a little better later, a little heavier, and not show runs.
Yep. We'll make sure you get it from lots of different angles so you don't miss any nooks and crannies. And slowly but surely, just start filling it in.
Purple. That was 4 coats.
4 coats. Yeah. And if we hold it up to the light, I mean, you can still see through it, but that is why we are going to back it with black, like AC/DC.
Yep.
Looking really, really good. No spots are like super duper heavy and other spots are super thin. It's nice and uniform, and that's what you want. So now we are going to back it with black. We are not using Tamiya paint. We're actually using Spastic. This is the ultimate black backer. And we really like this stuff for backing.
Great for backing. It doesn't have to be that chrome stuff, but by the way, the chrome is interesting, but yeah, this stuff will go a long way.
Yeah. So same thing. You can go. Do you go a little bit heavier on these coats?
These ones, yeah, I just kind of coat it. It doesn't take much to really black it out and finish off the paint you have on there.
And it leaves a really nice surface on the inside of the body too.
A little too high.
That's going in the cut. Oh yeah, that's gonna be sick. It's good, dude. We got plenty of flake action going on. Yeah. Now we can just peel the windows, put the stickers in, put the stickers on, and mount the rear bumper. Then all the crazy stuff like any decals that you need to put on the outside, any livery stuff. We're going to do something pretty awesome to the hood. Do you approve?
Yes. Yup. That came out great.
I agree. I love it. So that was a few weeks ago. Some things happened in my personal life that kind of tore me away from the project for a little while. Now I'm going to show you everything that I did to this body that we didn't get on film. So let's start with the chassis itself. This, of course, is the Losi 1969 Camaro. It is completely and totally stock, except for wheels and tires and magnetic body mounts. Because having body posts stick up through the body, that's just not scale, is it? So these magnetic body mounts are actually 2 different styles. The style in the front you may be familiar with if you're a drifter or a crawler. These are really popular in the drifting and crawling scene. These ones back here are a little bit cheaper, but however, because we're using a wagon body, the body mounts that normally mount to the rear, they weren't tall enough. So I reverted back to the original stock body posts, raised them up all the way, and put these little magnetic doodles on here that are fully adjustable. You know, you can mount these in all kinds of different orientations. And that allowed me to actually mount the magnets on the body. Now, for the car, it's a little, you know, it's a little different. You might be able to see I've got magnets under this tape here. Now, how I do it is I use 2-part epoxy to actually mount the magnets to the car itself. But hold on, it's not that simple. If you use shoe goo or 2-part epoxy or super glue, it's going to damage the paint on the lexan. So it's really important that you put some sort of barrier down. In this case, I used Gorilla Tape. I put a little bit of 2-part epoxy on top of the magnet on the body posts, and then set the car down on the body where I wanted it to set. You let that dry, and then I came back and I put a little bit of tape over it, 1, to clean up the look, and 2, to make sure that that epoxy, even if it comes loose, it's gonna stay there. 2-part epoxy or shoe goo, that's gonna work about 75% of the time. So more than likely, at least one of your magnets is not gonna stick the first time. You're gonna have to re-glue it, etc., etc. Kind of a pain in the butt. I am super duper proud of this light kit. I mean, I think I got it just about as tidy as possible. So this is just a super duper cheapo light kit that I got on Amazon. I'll post a link down below. And I used a body reamer to cut holes in the light buckets. The front light buckets I painted silver, and the rear light buckets I painted red. But it is important that you go back and you either black out the back or just use Gorilla Tape like I did here to prevent light bleed. Obviously, you know, when the lights are on, the whole bucket shines or lights up. So you'll get light bleed back into the cabin of the car or down onto the road, and it just doesn't look scale. Use some shoe goo on the lights themselves to actually hold them in there. And then this button right here is for party mode. But super easy. I just put a little hole and threaded the switch, the little button doodle in there. So this light kit doesn't intercept a signal from the receiver. It literally just gets power from it. So if you take the body off, you're not having to unplug a bunch of stuff from the receiver. It's literally just one cable in and out. Finally, I added some stickers. This one that says self-made, I think that's kind of appropriate because I made it myself with the help of Ethan. And hella broke because facts, physically and financially. These mirrors I rescued or commandeered from a Red Cat Lightning drift car, and the carbon fiber hood. This is actually just from a piece of carbon fiber vinyl. It's just like a big giant sticker that you cut to whatever shape you want and then stick it down. Ethan actually did this, and it was pretty tricky. We used masking tape and put it over the entire hood, and then went around with an X-Acto knife and cut out the shape of the hood. Transferred that masking tape over to the vinyl sticker, cut out along our template, and then stuck it down on the hood. It still required a little bit of trimming, and it's not perfect in the front here because the sticker is actually pretty thick, and it doesn't follow contours very good. But, you know, from a little ways away, it just does it for me. We went back with a little bit of black paint and did things like the front kidney grill here, and of course this little piece above the rear window. For the window trim, I actually took the window stickers that came with the body and cut out the gray part, so I was left with just the outline of the windows and just stuck it on there like a big old sticker. It's not perfect. Finally, the wheels. These were actually drift wheels that I bought on Amazon. I heated them up and pulled the plastic drift tires off, bought some rubber johnnies, threw them on there. Then I painted the white plastic wheels gold.
I love gold.
And bow. So there you have it, 10 Scale Squad. That is pretty much it. There's no real special tools, no real special skills, just a little bit of practice and some patience, and you can achieve this same result. The thing isn't perfect. It's got some rough edges. I am super duper proud of this thing, and that's what it's all about. Even though it's not perfect, none of us are perfect, right? And just like me, and probably just like you know, you can see the imperfections, just like you can certainly point out my imperfections. Shout out to the comment section. But if you've never attempted to make your own super scale body, I highly recommend it. You end up with something unlike anything else that, you know, anyone else has. You can put your own personality into it and really, you know, feel that sense of pride when you go out and do donuts in the thing, or go smash it over jumps, or take it to the racetrack, or take it out crawling with your buddies. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found it. I like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time. I've got some epic stuff coming up, so you're probably going to want to stick around. All right, guys, until next time. Chopping OEM bodies up. Chopping them.